Everything we ingest that provokes our body to take action it normally wouldn't is having a negative effect on our cells. The mildest negative effect on cells is stopping their osmotic pump. This prevents them from hydrating, and since cells need water for cleansing, a prolonged state of stopped hydration will cause them to dehydrate. In this state, they do not cleanse. They become acidic and toxic. This is the main cause of chronic diseases. If the medicinal remedy has a stronger effect, it will stimulate cells to protect themselves by producing protective proteins. Cells will reinforce their membranes to better protect themselves, and this will make it more difficult for water, minerals, and nutrients to enter the cell. We know that we are in this stage if our cholesterol is high, since cholesterol is the material that our cells use for reinforcing, building, or rebuilding cellular membranes. This is not the only cause of elevated cholesterol, but it is the most common one. Take ginger as an example. A lot of people are using ginger daily as a food additive, as tea, refreshment drink, or as medicinal remedy against motion sickness or morning sickness. General opinion is that it is healthy to eat ginger daily. Ginger is known in Chinese medicine as a medicinal plant, which it is. So why would you use medicine daily? Without knowing anything else, this should be enough to stop you from doing this. We know that motion sickness is triggered in the balancing part of the ear. It is a computerized sensitive mechanism that alerts us on our stability and keeps us from falling down. This computer that does this balancing act is our brain through neurons. If our brain is exposed to unusual motion and for some reason cannot compensate, the cellular dehydration can be the cause of this. It gets overstimulated and causes us to feel sick. Any mild analgesic will numb the neurons enough to slow down the activity of our neurons and motion sickness will go away. Since ginger is strong enough analgesic to numb our brain cells, it is definitely affecting every cell in our body. It will not only stop the osmotic pump of the cells, but it will stimulate them to produce stress protein as well. Since it slows down absorption, it will be effective in food poisoning, not allowing the poison to be absorbed into the blood. These toxic effects have great medicinal value, but they are not desirable in a healthy body, and in the long run, they will create health problems. Turmeric is also a natural analgesic, and in Chinese medicine is used in depression to desensitize the brain. Same as ginger, it has anti-inflammatory action. But what is inflammation? Inflammation is forced hydration and part of natural healing. Instead of suppressing it, we should be checking what the cause is and correcting the problem. Too much turmeric in the blood will alter the iron metabolism. It will also cause nausea and vomiting. Our body is protecting itself from it by limiting its absorption. Since we eat toxic food, turmeric is beneficial because it prevents cells from absorbing those things, and at the same time, it speeds up their elimination from the body. But much better would be not to eat those things in the first place. As of its antioxidative properties, it is irrelevant because uric acid is far superior antioxidant, and we have it. Our mucosal tissue is the primary cleansing organ. This means that if something comes into our respiratory or digestive system that the body does not want, it will do everything possible to get rid of it. So if some toxic, unwanted thing enters our respiration, it will trigger sneezing, cough, creation of phlegm, and salivation. If something unwanted and toxic enters our digestive tract, it will create salivation, speed up intestinal contraction and movement, mucus secretion, loose stool, and diarrhea. Most humans are dehydrated, and because of this, their kidneys are not properly cleansing the blood. They are instructed to save the water. If something enters the blood that our body recognizes as poison, it will instruct the kidneys to override the saving water order. It will use whatever water necessary to expel the toxic element. We call this the diuretic effect. Plants with this effect are called medicinal plants because they are used to temporarily lower blood pressure or reduce water retention. This is done to reduce the pain that accompanies those situations, but we have to understand that this is not a solution, and it is definitely not healthy. On the contrary, our body is letting us know it is toxic. Perfect food will digest smoothly, quietly without burping and passing gas. You should feel like that there is nothing digesting. Anything other than this, you are not eating correctly. Medicinal additives make you feel better. This is like drinking poison and claiming that the antidote is a health necessity. Learn about the correct diet and stop poisoning yourselves with medicinal remedies. As soon as something has diuretic properties, it is poison. Dehydrates us and stops the cellular osmotic pump. This contributes to cellular acidity and further undermines your health. Let's take a look at garlic. We are being told all kinds of stories about this miraculous medicinal plant. The same as it is with any other myth, the miracles keep growing and growing. Now we are convinced that eating garlic daily will make us superhuman with super health. Wrong. All medicinal plants are toxic, and so is garlic. Did you notice that no matter where you keep cloves of garlic, no animal or fungus will attack it? They all know it is poisonous and steer away from it. If the plants in your house or garden have problems with parasites, you can smash garlic, mix it with water, strain it, and spray your plants. The parasites will go away. Why do we think that something poisonous to every living creature is healthy for us? In the past, people knew the medicinal properties of garlic. They noticed that they do not die after ingesting garlic. They would get headaches but rid themselves of intestinal parasites. This was the purpose of eating garlic. But nowadays, there are claims that it has an antibacterial effect, lowers blood pressure, suppresses tremors and Parkinson's disease, prevents heart attacks, and more. So what happens here? One component in garlic is sulfone hydroxyl, a very potent neurotoxin. This explains everything. When ingested, it gets absorbed by intestinal parasites, causing them to go into spasms. They release themselves from our mucosal tissue and by intestinal contraction exit our body. At the same time, sulfone hydroxyl gets absorbed into our blood circulation and passes the blood-brain barrier entering our brain. As it is a neurotoxin, it will impair nerve action. We will experience headaches, slow reflexes, and loss of clarity of thinking and concentration. We notice that our reflexes are slowing down. It numbs the nerves, the passage of electric current through the neurons is weaker, and that causes the trembling of a patient with Parkinson's disease to stop if it is in the early stages. Slowed down conductivity of neurons will cause delays in reflex reaction, and it will deliver less current for the heart contraction, so the blood pressure goes down. If you think that any of these effects are therapeutic, think again. Why most people do not feel any bad effects from ingesting garlic? The reason for this is the ability of the cells to adapt, the same as with alcohol. Cells will keep a sample for further reference. The next time one eats garlic, the cells will recognize it and stop the osmotic pump, preventing the toxin from entering the cell. Same as with alcohol, after detecting the toxin, it takes the cell about 10 minutes to stop absorption, so some toxin will enter and harm the cell. This is the reason why people that meditate are not allowed to eat or get in touch with alcohol and garlic. Onions and leeks have this poison in much lower quantities, and they will not manifest any of the symptoms, but are not healthy to eat either. Garlic is not a healthy food as we are told. There are beliefs of magical healing properties of many plants. And yes, when administered properly, they will help you with discomfort and you will feel healed. But the effect is only symptomatic.